Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off.
We're back at you in Gloves Off. I'm Paul Buitrón. I'm here with a great guest, Mr. Victor Avila, and we're going to touch base on his campaign and what's he bringing to Texas, because this is a very important race. It's a pleasure, Victor.
Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Thank you for for allowing me to be here with you today. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for coming. Number one, thank you for coming to Laredo.
Yes, sir.
Usually a lot of candidates bypass Laredo, and Laredo is number one. It's a port city, and it's important in that matter. And for a candidate to come in that's running for Texas that pays attention to Laredo, it's very important for all of us.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. I know the importance of that. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I understand the importance and the uniqueness of a border town. Laredo shares a lot of those traits. And I've worked in my career as a retired ICE, Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent, most of my career on the border. And as I worked on my career on the border and on the other side of Mexico, we'll talk a little bit about it. I've been traveling here since after I retired last year. With all this crisis at the border, I've been coming to the border on my own to find out exactly what the heck is going on, to see for myself, to talk to the agents, to get briefed and hear from the landowners, the ranchers, the people, how they're affected by this chaos is what it is. And so, absolutely, it's a huge, important region, especially because people are starting to recognize that what we do here in Texas not only affects our state, but the rest of the country.
Absolutely. And you said it correctly. What affects here in Texas, it affects the rest of the country. And that is exactly right. And I'm glad that somebody knows that that's going on. Because number one, this administration didn't come down.
That's right.
Has not come down, has not even paid attention to it. I think she went to El Paso, didn't she?
Yeah, when she went to El Paso, she claimed that she'd been to the border because she went to El Paso. I know El Paso like the back of my hand.
Sure.
She did not go to the border, which is very different. You could come to Laredo, Texas, and not be on the border. You could be, technically you are in the region of the border, but you are not on the border, not even near a port of entry. Not even near the river, not even near any land, anywhere. She did that. She was near the airport and never actually wanted to show the actual border.
Absolutely. But now tell us, why would you say, coming out of ICE and say, I really need to run because I want to change? What happened?
Well,
what happened to Victor?
Well, I bring a wealth of a background of experience, and 10 years ago, actually it'll be 11 years next month, my partner and I, Special Agent Jaime Zapata, and I were ambushed by Los Zetas cartel, and tragically Agent Zapata was killed in the line of duty next to me. I was shot 3 times, once on my chest and twice in my leg, and I survived. God didn't want to take me that day, and so your life changes. And I have been in public service all my adult life. I've worked at the county level, state level, federal level, international level as a U.S. diplomat representing our country. You mentioned the name right now as an attaché in Ciudad Juarez, in Mexico City, in Europe, in Spain, and Portugal. And that brought me a very wide range of capabilities. It's no longer just the law enforcement of guns and badges and all that. It is negotiations, dealing with governments, making arrangements, and I have been there doing that. And so after the shooting, obviously our world was turned upside down, and you realize, well, what can I do? I can no longer be an agent anymore. A lot of things happened to me. I wrote a book about it, Agent Under Fire, and I said, well, you know what? All I know is public service. So this was a natural way for me to continue to be able to give back and serve the community. And the Texas Land Office, General Land Office for the Texas Land Commissioner Office, which is what I'm running for, has my name written all over it. This is the office that I think I could bring all of my expertise and my knowledge to be able to represent Texas. And a lot of people ask, well, what does this office do? Well, the first thing, it oversees and protects 13 million acres of Texas land. That's a lot of state public land. I want to concentrate initially and first and foremost the one on the border. We have a lot of state land on the border. What am I going to do on that border and that state land? I am going to build a barrier. Call it a wall, a fence, infrastructure, roads, lighting, technology, a lot of things that need, sometimes we need to just finish some road to give access to our first responders, the troopers, even the border patrol for them to use.
Absolutely.
That are incomplete, to give them access. What's happening now is that we're not stopping anybody from coming in. They're all coming in, and there's a lot of enforcement here. I don't know how many troopers we've seen, 1 a mile. And it's great. It's great law enforcement, but that's not border security. They're grabbing them, but they're already here. And you've seen the chases of the human smuggling and the rollovers of the cars and the stash houses and the drugs and the fentanyl and the methamphetamine. I talked to the police departments in San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, Abilene. The number one issue they have with crime is related to meth. The fentanyl is killing the people. The meth is going crazy, committing crime, and we have a crime surge in our country and in our state. Look at Austin, Texas, with the record of homicides that they set this past year. So a lot of it has to do with that border. So that's what I'm concentrating on. But this office runs by the resources that we have, our natural rich resources of oil and gas and minerals, mineral rights that we have in our state that create thousands of jobs for our Texans. I will protect that. I will negotiate and continue to see the land sales, the leases to these companies that produce this oil and gas for us, and fight the Biden administration that want to stop us from doing that. It's also our offshore drilling. The Biden administration doesn't want us. Look at gas prices.
No,
they don't want to, and so I will fight for that, and I will fight to stop selling land to China. We sold 140,000 acres in Del Rio, in Valverde County, to a Chinese billionaire who has ties to the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP. That's a national security issue. I know about that because I work for Homeland Security Investigations. We need to protect our borders because a lot of people, border security is a big, broad issue. It's not just illegal immigration. And people think, oh, well, people want to come here to work and pobrecitos. That's one part of it. It's the criminal element. It's the national security issue. It's the public safety issue. It's the terrorists that are coming in through that southern border.
And plenty are coming through right now.
Plenty. Criminals, gang members, cartel members, prior deports, people that I probably put in jail, sex offenders, drug offenders, violent offenders, they did their time, got deported, they're all coming back. And no one seems to care. No one seems to say anything until you're a victim of a crime at the hands of these people. It's too late. When you become a victim at the hands of these people, your God forbid, your child gets raped, you get run over and become a drunk driver, illegal alien, then you care. And that's too late. We need to care now. And so I want to do that. This office also oversees veteran benefits.
Sure.
Huge issue. I want to be able to do above and beyond for our veterans. Things that this office is already working on is land for state-sponsored cemeteries, which is good. I'll continue that. But I want to build them in rural parts of Texas, which is very hard. And I've already spoke to some of the people that work there. We will get, we don't need to travel 100 miles to go bury your veteran. We need to give them some state-sponsored cemeteries. I want to build a facility that we just saw driving over here from Zapata that houses illegal aliens. You know, these big tents, like remember the Donna facility? Another one that's huge, thousands of illegal aliens. But we build them for people that are not from our country. How about we build one of those facilities for our veterans on state-owned land? There's a lot of veterans that are homeless, that have problems, they don't have their paperwork in order. We process these illegal aliens thousands a day and let them into our country. How about processing our own veterans? How about getting them up and going, giving them their benefits, and then send them up to the VA? Because this office works very close with the VA. I will do that. I will also bring my experience in crisis management. This office teams up with FEMA when we have these hurricanes, the natural disasters. I worked Hurricane Katrina in 2005 on the ground. I know the security issues. I know the land issues, the moving of people, the vetting of people. It was disastrous. Remember back in 2005, we have people in Houston that we took in that were crime people with a lot of crime problems.
Absolutely.
And they're still there in Houston, and they've stayed in this area. I know how to handle that, and I will do that. I'll bring that experience as well.
You know, you said one word there that's magical. You said negotiation.
That's right.
And we need candidates that know how to negotiate. Because once you get into office, you have to negotiate. And if you do not have that skill, then number one, don't run. Understand what I'm saying?
I love that you're picking up on that.
And you talk to a lot of different candidates, and they go in there and some of them come out and say, well, you know, I can make a good carne asada. Okay, but can you negotiate? What can you bring? What's in the table when you're sitting down in front of other people that are you know, they're going to try to take you out and put it
That's
that
right.
way.
That's right.
You know, they want the best deal for them. How are you going to negotiate the best deal for us? Because you're the one that's out there.
Perfect.
We're not up there in that table. You're the one that's going to be sitting down that boardroom and going to say, you know what? No.
You know what the number one question is going to be in my head when those negotiations come before me? The number one question before I start anything is, how is this, whatever the issue is, going to benefit or not benefit the citizens of Texas? That's it. We start from there. Because I think what's happened is we start talking or thinking, how does this benefit the party? How does this benefit the Democrats? Hey, what are they going to do over there? Hey, am I going to get reelected? How about, is this going to be good for our people or not?
That's exactly right.
Yes, Texas first. Yes, I'm saying it, Texas first. It's time.
Absolutely.
We have to protect our sovereignty.
And once you're up there, and God wish that you get elected, and once you're sitting there, you're also going to have to represent the Democrats and Libertarians and everybody all together, all Texans as one. That's just the way it is. You know?
I want to represent everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
I have the best interest of everyone, not just one person or not one party. I'm running to be the Texas Land Commissioner of Texas, not of one city, of the entire state. That's why I'm traveling through the whole state so people can hear me and my message. And I understand the issues very well. I understand the border security in its entirety, the threat that we face by the cartels. Oh my goodness, that's one that I know very well. Trade with Mexico. I'll tell you another thing that I'm going to do. I will get with our governor and whoever official that we need to get with in the state of Texas, and we're going to go to Mexico. Texas is. The governor and I will go to Texas. We'll go to Mexico. We'll go to Mexico and engage with Mexico. Why? Nothing's happening over there. We know they're not doing anything. But we're not going to wait around for Biden. They won't even come to the border. And when they go to Mexico and might go visit, they don't have the best interest of the United States at hand. I am going to go there and we have to have a conversation with Mexico, a serious one, to say, listen, help me help you. Because as much as you like it or don't like it, they're our neighbors. Corruption, crime, you name it. Cartels. I know, I've been there. Two of the people that are involved in Mexico that I work with are in custody right now. The head of the federal police that I worked with when I was there is in custody in New York for corruption charges. Sinaloa cartel member. The guy that responded to the hospital when I was shot in San Luis Potosí is in custody in Mexico. Sinaloa cartel member. I know how to work with that, and I know how to navigate with that. We like it or not, those are the people that are there. So we must engage them. Just like if you had a big dispute with your neighbor, because the dog keeps on jumping over, because that branch keeps on hitting you in the face, at one point you have to go and engage with your neighbor and say, let's talk.
Yeah,
and that's what I will do. That's the uniqueness that no other candidate that's running will do.
And that's what we need. We need folks that understand the problems of what Texas is. You know, because Texas is not only Dallas and,
That's right.
and Houston and Austin. Texas is all the border from El Paso all the way down to Brownsville.
That's right.
And that's a huge part of Texas that's been forgotten for a long time. It's just, it's okay, let them, whatever, you know, throw peanuts at them. And a lot of people here are conservative.
Yes.
Okay, people on the border are conservative. So when they start seeing Republicans come of age, they start understanding that there's going to be a different change coming. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that there's not Democrat conservatives, because there's plenty of them.
Sure.
But that's what they've been voting for all the time. So now they're giving a different view, a different option. Oh, okay, now we know who it is.
And I'll tell you this way, I've been asked on the campaign trail, Victor, when did you become a conservative? And the first time I got asked that question, I kind of chuckled because I was taken aback by that question. I'm like, well, I don't know how to be anything else. That's the way I was raised by my parents.
Absolutely.
My parents are the most conservative people I know. And I didn't know Democrat or Republican back then because that's just the way I grew up. Values of God, family, hard work, education. My parents came to this country legally. They assimilated here. They wanted to be Americans. And that's a big issue that we are not seeing today.
That's the big problem.
Yes.
That's the problem that I have. We open arms to everybody.
Sure.
You know, all the Americas are that way because all the Americans are melting pots, right? But America much more so. And when you come to the United States, you have to assimilate to become part of America. I don't care if you speak Spanish or Portuguese or French or German. I could care less what you speak at home. It's how we're going to treat everybody outside.
Are you going to become a member of your community?
Absolutely.
Or are you going to come and isolate yourself here? We have the Mexicans here, we have the Irish here, we have the Afghans here. You can't have your country, bring it from wherever you come from and have it here. And you can't have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't work that way. I wrote that word in my book because right now under the Biden administration, you can't use the word assimilation. You're racist. How could you assimilate? It's a good thing to assimilate. My dad flies that American flag in his house in El Paso very proudly. My dad became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 1980. He became an American. Doesn't mean that we ignore Mexico. It doesn't mean that I hate Mexico. It doesn't mean that I love my culture. I embrace my culture. I speak fluent Spanish. I love Mexican music. You get to know me, you're like, oh, I'm just a Mexican American. Yeah. But I'm an American first.
Absolutely.
Right here.
You know, there's an old saying that says what needs to happen to Americans is they have to stop putting the hyphen in front of America.
That's right.
And that's the end of the story. You know, we can't have Irish hyphen American,
German,
Mexican hyphen American. Yeah, enough of the hyphens.
We're Americans.
We're Americans.
That's right. I
That's
agree with you
the way it
100%.
And that's just the way it should be.
I did a big study when I was at UTEP about the identity of Hispanics on the border. And I learned all the terms that we go by, right? Hispanic, Latino, Mexican American, Chicano. Oh my goodness.
There's so many.
There's so many. And they each kind of have their own identity. And very different, right? And it was a little confusing. That's why I love doing that research. Because it's very different. I had, my family grew up and my cousins in Chihuahua. And I used to go every summer. And boy, I was very different than them. Because I was an American. I wasn't a Mexican national.
Exactly right.
And we ate at different times. We dressed differently. We spoke differently with a different accent. So yeah, I understand it very well.
And if you go over there and you say, soy mexicano, they'll tell you,
no.
Si no te dicen gringo, eres americano.
What's the word, pocho?
Pocho. Then you're like, what? You know.
That's right. Don't you pretend. And I've never tried. It's hard enough trying to learn both cultures. And I love that scene from the movie Selena. You have to know about Vicente Fernandez and John Wayne. You have to know both cultures, and how dare you not know? It's hard to be a Hispanic. It's exhausting the way you say that movie.
You're absolutely correct. Well, we're wishing you the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming once more to Laredo.
And I will be back.
And yeah, for sure. And early votes. What, a couple of weeks away?
Early votes, Valentine's Day, February 14th.
It starts off there, and you have a long road ahead of you.
I need people to please
push
go
forward.
Yes, please go to my website, victoravilatx.com, victoravilatx.com. I need your donations. Part of the campaign, I need to learn to ask for money. It's very hard to do it, but your donation is not for me personally. It's for the campaign as an investment to get me to this office to represent you. And I ask for your help to get me there till March 1st, which is the actual primary. But early voting starts on February 14th. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Number one, thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
And I would love to read that book.
Yes.
So let's see if we can get me one.
I will.
And I would love to read it. And number one, thanks for your service, and thank you for your commitment to do more service.
Absolutely. Thank you for the time.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Folks, you got a great candidate here. Vote Avila for Texas Land Commissioner. Until next time, much peace.